Hi, I'm Sandy here at Reflection Paints, and I am going to do a tutorial on our ladder workshop. So in your workshop, in your kit, you should have got a ladder, just like this. You would have got a tea towel and 2 stencils, and a stencil brush and a brush to paint the stain. And you would have paint, some hemp oil, and some stain. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stain our ladder first. And so I chose Colonial. And so I'm just going to show you how to put the stain on. You should have a foam brush just like this. You'll dip it in and just smooth it on. Just like this. If you get a little bit too much on, you could have a rag handy and wipe it off. I seem to find it easy just to brush it out. But you can see how if it gets kind of, I'll just get a thick spot here in a minute. So yeah, I'm just kind of brushing it out so you don't see any stain marks. This is salmon stain, and it is actually a very good forgiving stain. So I'm going to start by just painting the sides. Just like that. Make sure you get all the corners. Sometimes where the raw wood, you might have to just dab it in there. Just a little bit. There. And then we're just gonna you need to stain all of it. Every piece. You don't want to miss any of the underneath pieces. You just want to get it all. Just like that. And if it looks a little heavy in some spot, just take your rag and you can wipe it off. Just like that. Just so you don't see any runs or any stain lines. Okay, just like there's a big glob in there. You can either brush it out or wipe it off.
Sometimes the corners are hard, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones that collect that
Can be a little tricky
stain.
So I'm just going to go ahead and get inside there. Like that. And you don't have to be super careful because you do have your rag to wipe anything off that doesn't look good. See, I'm just kind of rubbing it in, brushing it in. Just like that. And it dries really quick. The one I did in the display is Iron Earth, which is a gray. There, I'm just rubbing it in. And then we also had a dark walnut of your choice. It was the 3 choices you had to pick the stains out. Just like that. And if you get a little sloppy, you can wipe it up.
Does this stain just wash up with soap and water?
Yeah, this is a water-based stain. So it's just soap and water, which is nice. You don't have to worry about having gloves or anything because it is just soap and water. There, just about done here. There. Got a little wipe. Now I just got this side to do. Go. There.
When we're making a tutorial around here, we always have lots of other things going on in our in our store. We're selling paint. You can hear the paint mixer and the slamming down of the paint lids, and maybe the doorbell going because customers are coming in and out. Then we have our staff, you know, having to use all the rooms around us. So You might catch a glimpse of someone else on here too. You just never know who you might see.
That is true. There. So I think I got it all stained. I'm just wiping it to see if, making sure that it all looks nice and even.
It's quite pretty, the color.
Yeah, this is Colonial. Well, you see I got a little blob there. Just wipe it up. And you should probably make sure that you don't have your tea towel close beside you so that you don't get any stain splattered. I didn't, but you want to make sure.
Yours is quite close, so
yeah,
good job.
Quite close. There. And there is our stained ladder. These are so cute on the counter. And you can decorate these up in many ways. We decided to decorate ours with a tea towel, but you can, I will show you some examples in a little bit of how else you can decorate it up. So I'm just going to put this stain to the side and my ladder to the side, and I'm just going to, my hands are dry.
Okay, are they good?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're good. Okay, so, oh, I have a little spot here. The tea towel is a fairly large tea towel, so you're going to want to fold it in about 3. You're going to want to measure to see where you want your stencil placed, because you want to make sure that when you align it up.
Yeah, can you show us on that one, like unfold it?
I'll unfold this one. So we put the stencil probably about 6 inches or so from the bottom, and then we placed our stencil there, and then on the other side we kind of did the same thing, so that when you fold them in half you only see the one stencil.
Mm-hmm.
So our stencils are a 3-part stencil. You're going to have the back, which is going to be the grid, and the piece of paper on top here is the transfer tape, and that's at the front, and then your vinyl is what you're actually going to stencil on. So once you got your measurements lined up, I just folded my tea towel. I guess I can do it this way. I'll kind of do it like this.
That's okay. I can figure it out.
So I'm going to place my stencil probably right about there. I just like to wing things, so I don't really measure, but if you wanted to be specific, you could measure and make sure that you have it in the right spot. So I'm going to pull off the grid, which is the back. And you want to make sure when you're pulling off that none of the black stays on the grid. Sometimes these little letters between the A's and the R's, they'll want to stay on the grid side. If that happens, there we go, right there. I just wanted to make it happen. So right there, that was kind of sticking. If it does, you just need to rub it back down and pull it off. This one, of course, is going to come off really good. Okay, so now this is really sticky. So you want to center it where you think will be a good spot, which I am just going to center mine down right there.
It's pretty forgiving, this measurement anyway,
Yeah.
because it is the tea towel.
It is a tea towel.
You can kind of fold it however you want.
Exactly. So now we're going to pull off the transfer tape. And the same thing with the transfer tape. You're going to want to put your hand down, hold the vinyl down, and pull the transfer tape off. And if any black comes on, like this is sticking onto the transfer tape, you're going to want to just push it back down and try again. And if it doesn't, sometimes you might have to pull it from a different angle. Just kind of work your way.
It looks a little more difficult than when you're doing it on a sign, pulling it on there.
We use different vinyl on fabric.
Oh, okay.
So that is what, it's a little tougher. So it's a little harder to come off. So just kind of pull it off from different angles, like that. Oh, see, that was coming. Oh, pull it the fish back down. See how the A came off? We're just going to push that right back down. There we go. Now before you start stenciling, you're going to want to take your grid and you're going to want to slide it in between the tea towel so that you don't get any of the paint on of the other tea towel. So it should line up fairly good because you took it off that same piece. If you feel not confident enough and you feel that you might get over the edge with your paint, you could apply some painter's tape around the edge just to give you a little bit extra room. I do have a piece of painter's tape. You would just put it on the edge like that. I'm confident that I probably won't get it on there, but you never know. So then this is the paint. Everybody's going to get a black paint. And you should have got a little dabber. So you're going to want to dip your dabber into the paint, wipe it off, and make sure you take most of it off your dabber because you don't want to go heavy on there because you don't want to have paint bleed. You just want to go light. And so then you're just going to pounce on your tea towel. And these tea towels are washable even though you're using paint on it. This paint is a super adherent paint, so it sticks really well. There, and then you just pounce. Just like that. You want to do light coats, thin coats. Thin coats are better than heavy. Usually if you get too heavy, then that's what causes you to have paint bleed. So you're just going to
be patient then.
Yeah. So a little paint goes a long ways, as you can tell. Just offload some of it, and now you should wait for it to dry. I guess I really didn't, but it dries really quick, and it was very thin. So what you could do is you could actually set it up so that you do both of your stencils here at the same time. I'm just doing one at a time, but you could do that. Get them both up, and then you can alternate going from one stencil to the other. There. And I'm actually going to let it dry for a minute. And I will show you some ideas that you can do with your ladder. Instead of just the tea towel on there, you can take this tea towel. Oh, I guess you could have the tea towel on there too if you like. You can put a wreath on there. You'd probably want to pin it up or something like that. Or maybe even set it on the ground, set it on your counter. That looks super nice. If you have a plant looks super nice next to your ladder.
Cute.
Or we even have these beads. These are some wooden beads that we have here in the store, and you can also add those to your ladder. Or even a little sign, if you have a little sign that you want to add to your ladder just on your counter, they look awesome. So those are a couple things that you can add to your ladder. Or a candle's nice too. Even a candle would look really nice. So this is still a little bit wet.
Do we want to pause and let it dry a bit? Yeah. Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so we're back here now. I actually finished putting one more coat on my stencil here, and I actually did the other one too. So I'm going to let that dry, and now we're going to hemp oil our ladder. What this hemp oil does is it gives it a little bit of protection.
You needed to wash your brush too, right?
Oh yes, I forgot.
Rinse it.
For the staining brush, once you're done staining your ladder, if you can give your foam brush a quick rinse and kind of squeeze it out so that it gets dry, just squeeze it out on a paper towel so that it's dry, so that when you apply the hemp oil you can use the same brush. So the hemp oil is actually pretty much applied the same way. You just want to rub it on, and it actually just kind of gives it a protection. It'll enhance the grain of the wood, and it does give it a little bit of shine. And the same thing, you're just gonna plop it on there, no specific way, and then you're going to wipe it off. Kind of buff it is what you're gonna do. So it doesn't actually have to go exactly in the corners, or you know, you don't have to have a big thick layer on there. Just kind of slop it on anyway. You could even actually, this stuff is really nice. You could actually even use your hands if you wanted to. But
I've seen you do that before.
yeah, you can. You can use your hands.
This is a fusion product?
Yes, this is a fusion product. This is really nice if you have anything that's bare wood, because it'll just bring out the grain. Or if you have something that's really old and the wood is almost like that gray looking, you can just put it on and it just brings out the grain of the wood. Lots of people will use these on charcuterie boards, the hemp oil, because it is a food safe product. There, I think I pretty much got it on most everything. Then just take your rag and wipe it, just like that. So it is kind of oily. You want to make sure that your tea towel is not anywhere near there.
It's like, do as I say, not as I do, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, we're limited space here, so we have to shim up.
Yeah. There. Yeah, and that's it. Just like that.
And how long does that need to
missed
dry
this
for?
side.
Oh, you missed it completely.
I missed the one side completely.
Oops.
But I have enough on my rag here that I can get it all.
Does this dry overnight now?
Yeah, you can let it dry overnight. It'll be greasy, so let it dry overnight and then you can hang your tea towel on it. Okay. You don't want to get grease on your tea towel. But you can almost see how it actually shined it up a little bit.
I can smell it too.
Yeah, it smells like walnuts. There. That's good there. I'm just gonna quickly wash my hands because I'm gonna show you guys how to peel the stencil off the tea towel, but I don't want to get grease on my tea towel. Okay, so now I'm here. I'm gonna show you how to remove your vinyl stencil. I'm just gonna peel the tape off. So you're basically just going to pull it off, just like that. And you don't have to be, as long as your vinyl, your paint is dry, then you can just go ahead and pull it right off. Just like that.
It's very strong.
Yeah, some of them have to be. Yeah, so make sure your vinyl's dry because you don't want to get it on your white tea towel. Just like that. Actually, I got a little utility knife. I got a little bit of paint bleed there, but... Oh, see, I got a little bit...
Must have been a little bit wet there.
Wet, yeah.
We're trying to rush the process. Don't rush the process.
Yeah. There we go. And then you just need the utility knife to kind of get into those little grooves.
Because it's stuck on good, hey?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the little hearts. There. Oh, I guess I got an
E, I
E.
think. Yeah. And you got, oh, nice.
Oh, I got a mess there, but...
You know what? That was our bad for trying to rush it. That's okay.
There you go.
The point is, it's beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And I did it. Thank you for watching our tutorial on our workshop on our ladders.